name's Eugene Bareman, and I'm one of the head trainers at City Kickboxing. And we're one of the world's leading gym that produces many professional fighters that fight all over the world. But not just professional fighters, amateur fighters, people that just want to get fit and train and have different goals to fighting, like losing weight or just looking after their well-being. We take care of those people and introduce them to martial arts. And I grew up in West Auckland, the great West Auckland, in a place in a great suburb, the greatest suburb, Massey. And I went to the greatest high school, Massey High School. So I'm a born Westie. I live in the city at the moment, but I'm born and bred in West Auckland. So I have 4 sons ranging from between the age of 3 to 22. So I've got a nice big spread between my 4 boys. As a parent, I've definitely evolved. I had my first child when I was very young, when I had just left school. And with the benefit of hindsight, I can say I'm a much better father now to the 3-year-old and the 4.5-year-old than I was back then to my now 22-year-old. Just I've seen more of life, and I was very young, and I'm just more well prepared, and I've just had more life experience, and I'm able to use that to help kind of shape and mold my young sons. Where I was a little bit short on that when I was 18, 19. My biggest lesson is to you can't paint all your kids with the same brush. You have to learn that they all have very different personalities. Sometimes from the outside looking in, you just see people see 4 boys with the same surname, but they're actually 4 very different boys, and they're actually 4 very different parenting approaches. So that's one thing that I've got really good at, and I was able to distinguish relatively early when I started to get 2 and 3, and then eventually 4. Fun, I think, because I'm not the disciplinarian out of the 2 parents. I'm definitely the person that lets them get away with whatever they want, and we just have a whole lot of fun times doing stuff we're not allowed to do with each other. Messing up the house, sleeping in too long, watching TV till late at night when we're meant to be in bed. All of these things that you're meant to enforce a little stricter as a parent. Sometimes I let slide if I can get away with it. I've modeled my parenting completely on my parents. I had wonderful parents. My dad, in the very traditional sense, was the provider. He works very, very hard, and he wasn't there as much as my mum was, but his service to the family and us was through providing everything we need: shelter, education, all the rest of it. And then my mum was that constant presence that was always there, disciplining you, taking to school, and my mum's a very devout Christian, so I had that part of I had those ethics and morals growing up coming in from her. And I'm not a particularly religious person now, but that has heavily influenced kind of the way that I parent, I feel. I don't know if I would want that for my kids. I would probably, I don't know. It depends how badly they wanted to do it. But if they were umming and ahhing and they were on the fence, I would probably discourage them to do this particular sport. It's just way too hard. And sometimes you don't want your kids to do hard things and put themselves in harm's way. It's just too tough. The sport's too tough. So if they really wanted to do it, I would 100% get behind them and encourage them. But if they're on the fence, then I would kind of push them to the side of let's go to golf lessons and let's have some tennis lessons or something, Let's hit a ball and make 10 times as much money as we can when we're fighting. Yeah. I have to be very careful here. But I definitely did not want to have anything to do with raising a young female. I just felt, and obviously I would have adapted, but I just felt I'd be completely out of my depth and would have no understanding and just would be like a jabbering mess when it comes to raising a female. So I prayed very, very hard before all the births of my children that a boy would come out. And in the last one, I thought for sure I'm going to be gifted a girl. But sure enough, I must be doing something right. There must be some good karma. And I was really, really nervous. I literally, I was so nervous. They were having a gender reveal party, and I was so nervous. I was at the house downstairs, like away from it all, just waiting for it to happen. And I was so nervous, I left and came to the gym and started doing some boxing. And I was like, I need to use some energy. And just waiting for my phone to beep. And then my phone beeped, and it was just the words blue. And I just like let out like a shriek. I was like, yes, just such a big relief. Such a big relief. Like a lot of advice, and a lot of it very obvious, but you must always have a job. Was his advice, particularly when I never had a job. That's pretty staple advice. My dad was also, he's very old school. He was very anti buying things on credit. You gotta, because my dad's Dutch. And my mum's Samoan, so like he's got the Dutch side of him. So he always tried to encourage me to just save for it first, and then when you've saved the appropriate amount, buy it, as opposed to ticking up credit and interest where you're actually paying more than you have to for the thing, which is like very difficult, you know, and for people like of my generation who just want to be a little bit more satisfied quickly. Yeah, those were two very good pieces of advice, for the most part I stick to all of that. Yeah, my fondest memories are with my father. A lot of them, my family was a big rugby family, so all my brothers played rugby, sisters played rugby. Dad was a coach, all the kids through rugby, and then coached like the senior and upper grades, and all my fondest memories revolve around me playing rugby and being at the local club, Massey Rugby Club, and just spending time with him while he was in some sort of coaching or physio capacity with the team. That always gave my father a lot of enjoyment. And fishing, my father's a big fisherman, so like even to this day, like I try and like get out there, you know, like 2 or 3 times a year and do some fishing with him. And he's always made massive improvements in his fishing technique that he shares with me, because I love fishing as well. So that's how we kind of catch up nowadays, is we go fishing for a day. So yeah, all of my fondest memories were a pretty stereotypical one, but the birth of my children. Yeah, I found the birth of all 4 of my children just absolutely horrific. I just thought, yeah, like I thought I was not prepared for the amount of pain that a woman has to go through to deliver a baby. I was completely, like you see the movies and all that, and it does not prepare you at all. So when you get there and your partner is in excruciating pain and you are not a doctor and you have very little control over anything, I found that highly, highly stressful. And I, for the most part, found myself outside in the hallway, just sitting there helpless, going, "Can we get this? We need to get this over and done with." That, like, and funnily enough, that's a fond memory because I was lucky enough to have all my kids like born like very, very healthy and get through childbirth, and my partner get through childbirth with very healthy and perfect well-being. So that's a very fond memory for me. The main thing they do that reminds me of me is they ignore their mum and my partner. That's like that's definitely part of my DNA. Sometimes we have tunnel vision for particular task and we're doing that, we don't need any interference, outside interference from something else, somewhere else. So we have that in common. Quite often she has to yell at us several times to get us to do something. That's a similarity that me and my kids share for sure.
My dad's Indian and my...
I knew it was a fucking postman. Where's the phone? Can I ring your mum? Oh no, we just met.
You're gonna be so tough.
Yeah. Ben was like, oh, hey Doug, can we do an interview? And I was like, yeah, sure, what about? She goes, Father's Day. And I was like, what's that? It's like that joke, hey, what day is Mother's Day? Sunday.
How would you describe his parenting style?
Oh, yeah, aggressive. but necessary. Yeah.
For me, as I can say, and I've told this a few times, I think the day I knew I was having a boy is one of the most happiest days I've ever had in my whole life. Compared to no matter whatever fight tournament I've won, blah blah blah, nothing compares to knowing I was having a boy. And then even when I was with the mother, she was having a boy. Yeah, I was having a boy. You know, so yeah, I was like screaming at the cars and everything. And then he came out and I was like, put him back in.
I don't know if I can narrow it down to one word.
Thank you.
I don't know if I can.
And all those years I paid for him to go to school, can't think of one word. You know what I mean?
From the heart, son. From the heart. Yeah, from the heart. Stay real. That's it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I've kind of learned everything from life lessons. I don't really learn jack shit from school because I kind of got kicked out. But like, I think you just learn everything. I've just learned everything as I go. Yeah, so when I hear stories of other parents talk about their kids and that, I start thinking, man, you guys fucked up. I got some good ass kids, you know. So when it comes to how's my kids compared to everyone else, I think I've got a couple of good angels on my side, you know what I mean? These guys, they're pretty damn good. Sometimes I pray for a teacher to bring me up and say, can you come to school? And it happened twice.
We have to talk about that right
now. but both times, like, I wasn't that angry about it. Like, in my head, I was like, yeah, he's done something naughty, you know what I mean? Back in school days, we probably saw some kids that were athletes. Man, those kids are gonna be fucking rugby players or fucking All Blacks when they get older. But then next when they end up being pissheads or something like that. And sometimes I think maybe because the parents maybe pressured them too much into training when they were kids. Well, there was one time I think I did start pressuring him too much because like I was like, oh yeah, well, what kind of sport you want to play and all this kind of stuff. He goes, well, maybe once if I don't want to play sport, maybe once if I want to be a computer geek. And I was like, nah, man. But then I kind of realized that I was maybe coming on too hard. So I kind of I didn't really push him that much, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I let him do and like I gave him a taste of MMA, kickboxing, boxing. And then all of a sudden he just decided to kind of like just stick with the boxing, you know what I mean? And then I kind of waited until he said, yeah, I wanna fight, I wanna train.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a good push. Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. Yeah.
Nah, well, the thing is that I also told him before, is like, if I'm yelling at him in the gym, don't mistaken me as a coach and a father. You know what I mean? So like, I had to make sure, if I yelled at him, I'm yelling at him as a coach. You know what I mean? Once we get out of here, then I'm his mate, I'm his dad, I'm whatever what he wants me to be. But once we come in here, it's like, right now, buddy, right now. No. Yeah, so like, I'm his coach. So that's why I try and make sure I don't cross, I don't want to cross the paths.
That's pretty much today. Other than this, I'm school. So like I'm here after school, before school. That's pretty much what I do really. School gym.
He did work for a bit. Yeah, he worked over Christmas holidays, made enough to buy a car. and then now he's gone. You know what I mean? He's got his own sense of freedom. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now he's cool, and I trust him. I know he's not gonna go do something stupid or something like that. You know what I mean? So now he's a good kid. Just have some fun. Yeah. And I think it's always, as long as you got that honesty, as long as you guys have that honesty between you two, that's a good foundation to start anything. But it's like kind of like, once I know he starts lying to me, I can't trust him. That line's broken. So that's where you don't want to break that. You don't want to break that bond of honesty between kids. And I had that bond with my grandma, you know, because she was the one that raised me. And then even though she had 3 other kids, she spoiled me more than her other kids because I didn't have parents, so they felt sorry for me, so they always spoiled me. But then what happened was I ended up going to prison. And then I broke that trust, you know what I mean? So then she kind of just thought every time I was going out, I was getting up to something nasty. So I went from being her number 1 to, you know what I mean, to, yeah, just, hey, how's it going? But lucky for me, she got dementia. So she completely forgot everything in the past. You know what I mean? She still remembered her day when she used to smoke and all that kind of stuff. And I was back being her number 1. She's like, oh, there's my afu. Oh, how are you? And I was like, yeah, I got my grandma back like this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I still remember, like, you know, with my grandma, she, you know, people used to always come to the house, she would always give them, like, man, offer. Like, you know, we used to always give people, so when they come to our house, they don't leave empty-handed. I still carry on that tradition, you know what I mean? So I still like to give and be like, because my grandma was such a strong figure, you know what I mean? So I kind of want to be like her in that kind of way, but I pack a bigger punch.